Hi, my name is Nina and welcome to WFC Book Discussions. And today we will be discussing a book called Bloodlines by Lynn Lipinski. So let me give you a rundown as far as what the book is about, and we can go through a couple of discussion questions along the way. The book opens where Zane Clearwater, he's at the morgue because he's there to identify the remains of his mother's body, Sherry Clearwater. She had died in fire that had burnt down her home, which was a trailer that she shared with Zane, 26-year-old Zane, and his 14-year-old younger sister, Letty. Now, Zane, very early on, of course, is now stressing out about his immediate situation. He feels responsible for his younger sister, and they have no home, and they have no belongings, and he doesn't have a job because he had just been fired, so that was depressing for him, and he had no money. They also had no relatives to turn to. They had never been in contact with their mother's side of the family. They didn't know anything about their mother's side of the family. And Zane's father, he was told, died in an accident before he was born, so Zane knew nothing about his father. And Letty's father, they did know, but he was in jail. So it really was just the two of them. Now, Zane is really beginning to believe, wow, this is bad, but it can't get any worse until the fire is ruled an act of arson, and Zane is the main suspect. Now, Zane had actually gotten drunk and blacked out that night, so he had no alibi. He had no idea what he had actually done the night of the fire, but what really bothered Zane was the idea that he could have done something like that. He thought that was within his character to do that. He thought of himself as a bad seed who had already been in trouble with the law and fighting and violence and drinking. So that just kind of, for him, it depressed him to think, wow, I could have burnt down my house and murdered my mother in the process. So Zane, again, at the very beginning, all of this is being dumped on him, and then suddenly he gets this mysterious text. And that text leads him to investigating his family's past. He does find out some things about his mother that, he would have to say, well, she was very deceitful about a lot of things, and her secrets were exposed. But he found out a lot about his father. And the more he found out, and the more he entered into his father's world, which was a little dark, there's illegal stuff going on, it's dangerous. And Zane, strangely enough, feels comfortable in that world. And the more he finds out about the father, the more he gets this feeling of belonging. And it basically explains to him why he is the way he is. He believes himself to be a bad seed, but he got it honest, like father, like son, through the bloodlines, which of course refers back to the title of the book. But that also brings me to my first question for you to discuss. Do you think, like Zane, that it is in the bloodline? So do you believe that your character traits that guide your behavior, is that predetermined at birth? Or do you believe that it's all learned behavior? So check it out on Facebook, WFC Book Discussions on Facebook. The question is there, and please let me know what you think, and we can have that discussion there. Now, as far as the book is concerned, it was a young adult title, or it felt to me as reading it that it was in the genre of young adult, and that's not necessarily my favorite genre, but I actually kept reading, and I do have to say the author did a really good job to keep me reading because I liked the characters. So I was very interested in Zane. I liked him. I wanted to see that things would work out for him. He would land on his feet, be headed in the right direction. I was a cheerleader for Zane, and that's what kept me reading. So I have another discussion question for you to find out what keeps you reading. What's more important to you, or what drives you more? Is it the characters that you read about, meaning that the plot itself could be average, possibly even predictable, but because you like the characters, that's what keeps you reading till the end? Or are you plot driven, meaning that if the plot itself is engaging and interesting, unique, you keep reading and you really like the book, even though you hate the characters? So which is it for you? So go ahead and, again, if that question's already there on Facebook, for you to go ahead and have that discussion with other readers. Now, that actually will do it for today, the title Bloodlines by Lynn Lipinski. It is available for purchase currently online, and you can also find out more information about the author online as well. So maybe you'll decide to make that part of your personal book club and meet me back here at WFC Book Discussions on Facebook to tell me what you think after you've read the book. Again, that's it for this week's WFC Book Discussions. My name is Nina, and I will see you next time.